So we've harped on this a few times now, and we want to make sure we really explain it and hammer it home. The reason that these bids need to be so descriptive are really to help everybody out that is part of this project. The first one and most important is your client. Your client needs to know exactly what they're getting themselves into for a number of different reasons. A client that knows exactly what's going to be happening, room by room, line by line, is going to be a lot easier to work with, is going to feel a lot more comfortable when they're going on to move on with their project with you, and overall is just going to feel better about the project. They know what they're signing up for, they know what they're getting. There's not a lot of confusing contractor talk on the bid, and they know what's going on. The other thing this is going to do for the client is, and for you, is it's just going to make it easier to sell it. A client who knows what they're getting, feels comfortable, is happy with their contractor, is going to be a lot easier to sell than a client who's confused and doesn't necessarily know exactly what's going on. So we want to make sure that client can walk in each room, line item by line item, and know exactly what it is they're getting for their money. The other person, and arguably the most important, but definitely number two if not, is the appraiser. The appraiser pretty much dictates how much money is going to be loaned on this project. That appraiser needs to be able to walk into a room and determine exactly what is going to be going on in that room. The more descriptive you can be in your bid, the more that appraiser knows, and the easier it is for them to justify the amount of money that we need for this loan. The entire loan is based off the appraiser's after renovated value. They're going to take the value of the home as it sits, they're going to add your bid to that, and they are going to base their appraised value based on that after renovated house. So the more descriptive you can be for that appraiser, the better. The higher they are able to appraise that house, the more money the client can get, and that means the more money you can get for your renovation. Like we said before, having a descriptive bid is very important for everybody involved. The next two people to talk about are the lender and the HUD consultant. The lender is ultimately the one that accepts your bid. That being said, most lenders are referring to their renovation department to figure out exactly how that bid needs to read, what it needs to say, and ultimately what that project is going to look like. So putting together a very descriptive bid the first time lets that lender and that lender's reno department know exactly what's going on. In the end, the lender is kind of making a bet that the product that they're lending money on is going to be a quality product. So they need to know exactly what it is that their money is going to in order to, again, feel comfortable and know that that project is going to look good and be worth their risk in the long run. The other person that needs to know exactly what's going on is the HUD consultant. Now, most HUD consultants will have a little bit of contracting background, so that's going to be helpful. The HUD consultant's job is to basically let the lender know what this project looks like. It's the HUD consultant's job to put the bid in a specific format called the SOR, or the Specification of Repairs. The SOR is essentially the language that the lender wants to receive your bid in. So the typical bid that comes from a contractor is not what the lender's looking for. What we've done is we've given you a sample bid and a template that is very, very close to the SOR to make the job as easy on the lender and as easy on that HUD consultant as possible. That way, when the HUD consultant sends in the SOR, which is the final bid that we're going to be working off of, the lender can easily see that the SOR and the bid look enough alike, they match, and that's what's going to be done. So making it easy on that HUD consultant is super important. We want them to know exactly what's going on so that they can portray your bid properly when putting together the SOR. I imagine you're wondering what that SOR, or Specifications of Repairs, really is. So what we've done is provided you with a link. If you want to click right here on SOR, it'll send you to what that looks like. Again, the SOR is the Specification of Repairs, and that is the bid put into the lender's format. All lenders, and this comes normally from FHA all the way at the top, or from HUD all the way at the top, require that the bid come in this format. The HUD consultant's job is to take your bid and convert it into such. So one of the things that you can look at is the breakdown of the SOR, how it lays out, and you're going to see that it very closely resembles the bid that we've asked you guys to put together. The next piece to that SOR that we haven't really talked about yet are the 35 categories that it breaks down into. These categories, again, are given to us by HUD from the top down, and we are meant to break your bid down into these categories. To give you an idea of what those look like, you can look at this list below. The HUD consultant's job is to take each and every line item that you guys have in your bid and tag it with one of these different categories. This lets the HUD consultant, the appraiser, and the lender all know exactly what kind of project and what kind of line items we're going to be handling in your bid and in your project. The HUD consultant has a pretty tough task. They've got to work through your bid, make sure they understand it completely, and be able to easily place it into these categories. So making that as simple as possible by having a very descriptive bid is very helpful on both the HUD consultant and the lender. As promised, if you were able to download that PDF that shows you the deck, you can click on either the PDF or on the sample bid itself, whichever you prefer, and get just that. So we've got a sample bid here for you. It's the same one that we looked at before. It'll walk you through room by room, line item by line item, labor, material, allowable fees, sign at the bottom. It's a sample bid. If we received every bid in that format, it would be perfect. Makes the HUD consultant's job easy, makes the lender's job easy, which ultimately makes your job easy because we're not coming back to try to figure out what's going on. We also have here a bid template. So this is a blank version in Excel of that sample bid. It's a blank version for you to go in, manipulate, add whatever you want to. It's just a starter kit to get you going. Please feel free to create your own. It's totally up to you. The other thing in here is a nice set of descriptions of do's and don'ts. This is just, again, best practices. We've done 100 of these things. We've worked with a bunch of different lenders, and these are the different pieces we've run into that work and that don't. So please feel free to use anything that we've provided here. We're also going to have some clickable links on the website that just have some more resources for you to help you out. So this is the bid. This tells you about what it needs to look like, how it needs to show up to us. Because if you do it right the first time, that's less conversations between you and the client, between you and the HUD consultant, between you and the lender. We get to that closing table faster, which means you get to put your pouch on and get that project knocked out.